The human body exists within a consistently changing, often hostile external environment. This micrograph shows the skin, a physical wall designed to block external threats from reaching the delicate tissues beneath. But while the world outside shifts, the trillions of individual cells that make up your body require constant, stable conditions to remain alive. Cells do not interact with the outside world directly. They live in a water-based medium called interstitial fluid, which serves as their immediate environment. Every cell absorbs its oxygen and nutrients from this fluid and expels its metabolic waste products back into it. To maintain the specific chemical balance required for life, the cell's plasma membrane uses selective permeability. It acts as a gatekeeper, controlling exactly which substances enter or exit to protect the cell's internal chemistry. This selective exchange occurs continuously across trillions of cells at the same time, meaning the chemistry of the interstitial fluid is in a constant state of flux. The primary objective of these physical barriers is to isolate and protect this internal fluid matrix, keeping the environment around the cells stable. Medical science defines this state of strict internal control as homeostasis. While the term literally means unchanging, that definition is misleading. Homeostasis is actually a dynamic cybernetic process, a continuous cycle of measurement and adjustment to prevent the internal environment from drifting into a toxic state. There are critical variables that the body must keep within incredibly narrow limits: core temperature, blood glucose, pH levels, and oxygen concentration. If these variables slip outside those boundaries, the resulting homeostatic imbalance threatens the survival of the individual. Homeostasis is the software running the body, constantly calculating and correcting to prevent a total systemic collapse. To maintain this balance, the body utilizes control systems designed to detect and respond to any change in the internal environment. Every control system has three components: a detector, a control center, and an effector. Most body functions rely on negative feedback. If a variable moves from its set point, the system produces a response that reverses the movement. We see this engineering model during temperature regulation. The detector's nerve endings sense thermal changes and signal the control center, the hypothalamus. When temperature drops, it activates effectors. Skeletal muscles shiver and skin blood vessels narrow to trap heat. Negative feedback is the primary driver of biological stability because the system is self-regulating. Once the baseline is restored, the response automatically turns off. While negative feedback stabilizes the body, there are rare occasions where the system needs to drive a process toward a rapid conclusion. This requires positive feedback. Unlike negative feedback, which reverses a change, positive feedback progressively increases and amplifies the response as long as the stimulus is present. The primary physiological example is the process of uterine contractions during childbirth. The hormone oxytocin stimulates a contraction, which stretches sensors in the cervix. This stretching triggers the brain to release even more oxytocin, creating a stronger contraction. This exponential loop only breaks when the physical stimulus, the stretching of the cervix, is removed once the baby is born. Positive feedback acts as a specialized mechanism for achieving a singular event, rather than the steady-state maintenance required for daily survival. If feedback loops are the software of the body, then the physical anatomy is the hardware required to carry out those responses. This hardware begins at the cellular level. These are highly magnified nerve cells, specialized to transmit the rapid electrical signals that coordinate the entire communication system. Groups of cells with similar structures and functions work together to form tissues. When different tissues combine, they form organs, like the stomach, evolved to perform specific tasks. It utilizes an epithelial layer for secretion and smooth muscle layers for mechanical churning. These organs then connect to form interdependent systems, like the digestive system shown here, where every part contributes to the survival needs of the whole. This vast hierarchy of structural complexity exists solely to supply the body with the specific tools needed to maintain the homeostatic loop. For this system to survive, it requires a continuous intake of raw materials and the rapid elimination of toxic waste products. The cardiovascular system acts as the primary transport network, ensuring that isolated tissues throughout the body receive these essential supplies. This microscopic view shows human blood. Red blood cells carry oxygen to every cell, White blood cells provide defense, and platelets are essential for emergency clotting. Without this continuous fluid transport system, local tissues would quickly exhaust their resources, causing the homeostatic loops to fail almost immediately. Every complex system eventually experiences a decline in capacity. Mature organs possess functional reserve, a spare capacity that allows them to handle extreme stress or structural loss without a visible change in performance. Because of this reserve, significant structural damage can happen invisibly, masked by the system's built-in redundancy. It is a common misconception to equate this decline with disease. Physiological aging is a normal process, not an illness. Aging involves specific, measurable changes. Blood vessel walls stiffen, the digestive system's peristalsis reduces, and the filtration rate in the kidneys begins to slow. As the functional reserve depletes over time, the body's control centers have less capacity to execute negative feedback, narrowing the margins for survival under stress. Aging doesn't break the loop directly. It makes the system fragile, acting as a major risk factor for catastrophic failure. True pathology occurs when that homeostatic balance is entirely lost. This is an abnormal state where the control systems can no longer regulate the internal environment. The clinical study of these failures is divided into two primary concepts. Etiology is the root cause, the trigger. This can be anything from genetic mutations and viral infections to physical trauma or exposure to chemicals. Pathogenesis is the specific mechanical process of the disease within the body, the way a tumor proliferates or an abnormal immune response causes chronic inflammation. To treat a patient, medical professionals must understand both the trigger and the specific way the feedback loops have broken down. The body operates through these interlocking feedback loops. Health is the continuous success of homeostasis, and illness is the measurable reality of its disruption.